There's a very common, perhaps even famous problem that English speakers who are learning Spanish typically encounter, and that is specifically to do with the verb to be. Now, so far we've been learning that estar is the full verb to be, the infinitive. For example, to say I'm going to be there would be voy a estar allí. So voy a, I'm going to, estar, be, and allí is there. I'm going to be there. Now the problem is that there's also another verb in Spanish for to be, which is ser. Ser. So we have estar, to be, but now also ser, to be. So it immediately raises the questions, how is that even possible, or how could that even work in a language? How can you have two verbs to be? Well, it's quite complicated initially to understand for most people, but we're going to break it down in stages and really simplify it as much as possible. A good place to begin might be with something very basic, such as I am. Now, we have two versions for I am in Spanish. We have estoy and we have soy. So estoy and soy both mean I am. Let's begin with soy. Soy expresses a kind of permanence in its nature. For example, if I wanted to say I am Paul, it would be soy Paul. Or I am a man, soy un hombre. Or I am tall would be soy alto. Now these are all pretty much permanent characteristics. For example, I am Paul. It's not likely that tomorrow I'll change my name to Richard. So the fact that I am Paul is a pretty permanent characteristic about me. And I am a man. I'm not planning on changing my sex anytime soon, right? So it's again a core permanent characteristic about me that I am a man. Equally with something like I am tall. It's not very likely that tomorrow morning I'll wake up and find myself, a couple of inches shorter in height. So again, these are expressing permanent characteristics about me, core things that define me. Even if I was to talk about my religion, what religion I am, I would use soy. Now, on the flip side of that coin, we have estoy. And estoy is the opposite. It's kind of temporary in its nature. For example, to say something like, I am ready, it would be estoy listo. Or I am sad, estoy triste. Even I am here would be estoy aquí. Now let's have a closer look at those. Estoy listo. I'm saying that I'm ready now, but it's highly possible that I won't be ready in an hour, or I won't be ready next week. I won't be ready next year. So this is something temporary in nature, that now I'm ready, but there's no guarantee that tomorrow I'll be ready. So for that reason, we use estoy because it's a temporary thing. Also, I am sad. Okay, so I'm sad now, but maybe tomorrow I'll be happy, or maybe last week I was happy and now I'm sad. Again, it's temporary, expressing something temporary in nature. For example, I am here. Okay, well, I'm here right now, but in 5 minutes time, I might be somewhere else. It's expressing things which are temporary in nature. If we do comparison back again with the permanent characteristics, saying something like, I am a man, okay, so that is something permanent, soy un hombre, or I am tall, soy alto, expressing permanent characteristics. Whereas on the flip side of that, saying I am sad, we switch now into estoy triste, because this is now something temporary in nature and not a permanent characteristic about me. I realized that this concept for having two different verbs for I am and to be and everything involved with that, it's really strange for native English speakers to understand at first. But I promise that you will develop a sensibility for it the more we go through the videos and the more that we practice. Let's go return back to I am Paul, which of course is soy Paul, because it's something very permanent, very core characteristic about me. To say estoy Paul, it doesn't exist in Spanish. Equally with I am tall, it would be soy alto, because again, it's not going to change anytime soon. To say estoy alto would sound very, very strange to the ears of a native Spanish speaker, because what you're basically saying is that you're tall today, but maybe in an hour's time you're going to be shorter or more taller, or perhaps last week you were a different height than you are now. It doesn't sound right to their ears, because estoy is expressing something that is temporary in nature. I am, but something with temporariness, not permanence. Let's examine a few more examples. If we were talking about a profession, a job, or a career in a way that also implies a kind of permanence, but it's not perfect. For example, if you were to say I am a professor, it would be soy profesor. Now, you could argue that, well, I'm a professor now, but maybe in 5 years or 10 years I'll be something different. And that's perfectly possible. But in a way, if you think about it, a profession or a job or a career does imply a kind of permanence to it. For example, if you were to say I'm a pilot, it would be soy piloto, or I'm an accountant, soy contador. Now, it doesn't really make sense that this week you would be a pilot and next week you would be an accountant, right? I mean, your career or your job or your profession tends to be permanent in nature. And for this reason, they're using soy for jobs and saying what your career is. So in a nutshell, soy defines who you are and what you are. For example, who you are, your profession, your name, what you are, things like that, core characteristics. I am Paul, I'm tall, I'm a man, I'm a teacher. Those things which are not changing from day to day or minute to minute. Whereas estoy defines how you are or where you are. For example, I'm happy today, or I'm ready now, or I'm worried, or I'm angry. These things are changing all the time, generally. So this is why they get assigned with estoy.